Hello and welcome to FPL Have a Beer on a very exciting / controversial day in FPL. Please like the video to help get it out there, and please subscribe. I try and do one of these once a week, and also a preview with two of my regular co-host partners who happen to be here today. So until about half an hour ago, this was going to be a normal live stream, so a solo live stream, and then about half an hour ago, Triggerlips said, I've got some things I want to talk about, can I come on? And then literally 10 minutes before we started, Steve-O said, can I come on? So I'm delighted to welcome on a Saturday evening. I think their moods may be slightly different. Nick and Steve-O. Steve-O, I don't think we need to ask how you are, but Nick, how are you, mate?
Okay, I guess. It's been awful, but it's not as awful as some people. So,
Yep.
5 points for the assistant manager, and it's all downhill from there. So,
I don't know why I'm laughing.
Sorry for the viewers, I've just lost... Oh, bloody hell. This is what happens when you don't prepare. Just lost the screen. There we go, we're back. Okay, so what we're going to do in this one is we're going to have a look at the games. I haven't planned this at all, really. Well, I have a little bit, because I didn't know that I was going to have two guests on. I'm going to talk about my experience this morning on Fpl Gw36 channel, give them a bit of love, but also put into context what I think we all know today was about, which was the leaks that happened just beforehand. Then we'll have a quick look at the games, quick look at our teams, quick look at FPL Live rank to see what can hurt us tomorrow, etc. That's what we're going to do. So, I'll show you how busy I've been, lads, how much this has taken me by surprise. I haven't even opened a beer, which is criminal for my channel. So, I was on FPL D-Unit's channel this morning, which for a deadline stream, which was quite stressful. It's quite stressful being on a deadline stream, even though it wasn't mine. You know, he's asking me every 2 minutes, 5 differentials. What, 5 I can't think of one. With these different things. But, so I went in quite certain my transfer would be, see you later, Mrs. Triggerlips, would be Visser out for Mateta. And then, I don't know, have you guys watched D-Unit's channel before?
No, I haven't watched it, no.
I confess I haven't. I looked for it, I think, the other day, but I couldn't find it. Must have been looking for the wrong thing.
Well, he's going to join us on... He's going to join us
today.
He's going to join us on Wednesday, Nick, so you'll meet him. So basically, he's got this thing. It's like the FPL gods control... This is going to sound really weird, but control this card, and he flips this card. It's like tossing a coin, Nick. And whatever side it lands on, he basically uses that to make his decision. So, I mean, it's usually 2 decent decisions. It's not like Captain Haaland or Captain a left back. But anyway, so he was doing these flips, and every single one he was doing was coming up. And you watched it, didn't you, Steve-O? Captain Haaland, buy Haaland. Haaland's going to start. Triple Captain Haaland. He's doing all these flips. So already there's like this mysticism going on. You got to get Haaland in. Then, of course...
Well, hold on.
Go on, mate.
You missed some important information, is the fact that, which kind of was intriguing me, was when he was saying about the fact that the cards normally turn out to be right.
Yeah.
And a lot of his success this season has actually been down to the card-based. And he joked around the fact that next season, just for his channel, just have a card flipping up and down, and that's it, and he could win the whole bloody game.
Yeah, but it was actually not the card he usually uses this morning. So perhaps it was a cursed card. But anyway, so the vibes are building up. Then, all of a sudden, we get the leaks. So I am really feeling, and I'm telling you this because I have a feeling this will have affected a lot of people in the FPL community towards going, I've got to get Haaland in, I've got to captain him, possibly I've got to get De Bruyne in, possibly I've got to get rid of Marmoush. Thankfully, I made my own transfer about 5 minutes before the leaks came out, which pretty much prevented me from reacting to them. But before we talk about anything else, what were your experiences like this morning with those leaks? Because I know, Nick, you had a few things you wanted to say about them.
Well, my experience was awful because instead of going to bed at my normal time, I have to stay up because I know there are going to be people leaking. So I have to stay up till like 1 o'clock in the morning, get the leaks. Then, like an idiot, I was affected by them. You know, I took out my moose for a head and bought in Visa, which I wouldn't have done. I would have just kept my tata if I'd just gone to bed, which I didn't do and I should have done. And it's every single week now, and they're getting earlier and earlier. It doesn't matter what time I put the deadline, people are leaking just before the deadline, and it's just getting ridiculous. They're ruining the game. And the clubs, they call themselves, like that one calls himself Main Road, but would Pep or Man City want the team to be known early by the likes of him? They wouldn't, would they? He's like, and he's profiting from this.
Is that where the leaks...
He's getting huge amounts of followers. You've got FPL Tony charging money that no doubt all the mainstream content creators subscribe to, worshipping him, hanging on his every word. They're like running the entire community now. The entire community is based around them, and they're nothing but worthless vermin. And the time to get rid of them is now. And FPL really need to stand up and stamp it out. Now, they know FPL Tony's got a team. Why don't they ban his team? Kick him out of competition. He's against the rules. It's like, it's just not on. It's just not on. And Andy, the other season with Saliba, that was just as bad. And it's been going on for ages. And that's the thing with Saliba. People had a 20-point head start in the season before the season was even underway. And it's just a joke. And FPL need to really do something about it. Everyone complains when you suggest moving the deadline 24 hours out, but something has to be done to stop it, whether it's 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. I suggested the actual game time, but then everyone leaks a 3 o'clock kickoff, so that doesn't work. So the only way is to put it back even further, which nobody really wants. But due to these leakers, there appears to be no other option if we want a level playing field.
Yep.
Rant over.
Yeah, well...
Where's my drink?
Another campaign then, Nick, because they're only going to change it if a lot of people kick up a fuss. You know what I mean? They're not going to change it just
Mark
for the
Southern says he hates the leakers, even though Scout were taking advantage of embargoed press news for the last 15 years. But, you know, he says he hates them. Do something about it because it's getting ridiculous.
All right, Steve-O, what were your... I mean, I know you made a short video about it earlier on your own channel. What was your experiences like? Because I know there was a last-minute panic which led to some unfortunate decisions or not doing things.
So, firstly, I just want to say Nick makes some excellent points there. And I think that the only logical solution really is to move it just to the start of kickoff like a lot of fantasy games do. I think that's just the simplest solution possible, because there are some times when, if we were, for argument's sake, to move about 24 hours, we could be going into a game week where it hasn't even finished. So a game could be on a Thursday evening and then you've got a Friday night kickoff, just as a simple example. So I do 100% agree that the simplest way is just to move it to kickoff. And I think actually I have a feeling that could be one of the big changes next year. For me today, so as I stated in my videos, I was consuming D-Unit because of you, Gary. I'm not going to lie. I always tune into any of my friends or anybody that I enjoy their content.
Thanks for your support, mate.
I will happily go on and support that person and then just see what, in this specific case, FPL D-Unit, how he comes across. If it came across as your standard deadline streamer, I'm not going to lie, Gary, I would have turned it off. But there was personality behind what he was doing, and I was engaged, which is good. And it got to, I think it was it 1:10? The leak about Haaland starting, maybe 1:05.
Yeah, about that, yeah. Just say hello.
About 5 past.
Sorry, Steve, just say hello. He's just just say hello, Dean. He's in the chat. He's just saying hello to you.
Evening, pal. What's his name? What was his real name?
His real name, I don't know if he wants me to say it.
You interviewed him the other day.
I know, but he literally told me in that to call him D-Unit. So
okay, fair enough.
If he wants to come out about it, he can. He can tell you in the chat.
So he he then announced the fact that Lazy FPL had announced that Haaland was starting. I'll be honest with you, my immediate reaction was, right, I'm going to finally be able to do the KDB in for Jacob Murphy. Done. Hit the bench boost. Happy days. But then 10 minutes later, I found out that Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland start, but Marmoush is benched. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute, this is scuppered our plans now, because me and Ray are going to be playing a bench boost. We had a perfectly fine bench for this game week, and we're thinking, but now we've got no Murillo. We're going to have no Marmoush. We've only got 2 players for the bench. Like, what? So I phoned, me and Ray were literally back and forth, because I actually checked a notorious troller, their page, and it definitely wasn't fake. It was a real confirmation, Lazy FPL. I'm thinking, right, so it's real news. Ray's literally asking me, can you please confirm that it's real news? And I'm like, yep, it's definite. It's 100% accurate. So Ray immediately phones me. We're having this discussion about what to do. And we basically came to the conclusion that, look, it's Man City away at Southampton, one of the worst teams ever to exist in the Premier League. Haaland has come out saying he's hungry. He's been literally pep talked by Pep to basically say, get scoring again. I'm now putting faith in you now to now stamp your authority to say, this is the reason why I'm one of the best strikers in the world. You're starting the FA Cup final. Let's go out there and beat Southampton. So I've got this panic thinking, Jesus Christ, like, we've got no Marmoush. Haaland's starting. We're already going to get in Kevin De Bruyne. How the hell do we get in Haaland? Well, the only way we're going to do that is by getting rid of Salah. Obviously, tomorrow we got Liverpool against Arsenal. It's a tough fixture in the grand scheme of things, but actually, as Ray states, Arsenal are probably going to give up and Liverpool will batter them. But that all aside, me and Ray were just thinking, do you know what? Balls to the walls, we're chasing. Let's go and do that -4 to bring in KD, because we'd already brought in Alanga. Kevin De Bruyne in, Haaland in. Let's attack that fixture. But we're not going to play bench boost. That's the key wording there. We're not going to play bench boost. Now, during this conversation, I legitimately went on the webpage and I went to see if I could cancel bench boost, because I'd already activated it. I was just checking to see if you could just cancel it. I genuinely did check to see if you could cancel. But idiot in me didn't confirm the cancel. So unfortunately, we played the bench boost. It's going to turn out to be potentially one of the worst bench. It's going to make Nick's bench boost look like the greatest one ever. And I've only literally found out from Andrew on a comment on my video that Semenyo got a yellow card. Didn't even know that. So he's got 1 measly point. And we're relying on Murillo to start, which God knows. And now the panic is going to be, is Salah going to do what he's going to do? Now, with hindsight, absolute hindsight, me and Ray should have just played a 3-5-2, not even played bench boost, and move into game week 37. But me and Ray had a brilliant voice message exchange. I've only really just listened to it, hence why I'm here now, because it really did calm me down. And again, just want to say thank you to Ray for calming me down. But we know that probably tomorrow, knowing our luck, Salah's going to go off. Ray already predicted it in our preview stream that he would want to captain Salah against Arsenal. And yeah, that whole, if none of that team leak existed and we knew nothing about Haaland starting away, then me and Ray would have just done Kevin De Bruyne and left Marmoush and done play bench boost. But yeah, it's been a sickening day, Gary and Nick. Sickening.
I was using the mute.
By far the only one, I think.
I've
looked, you know, those leagues I look at, I've only found one good score in about 30 or 40 teams. Absolute disasters everywhere. So you're not the only one. A lot of triple captains on Haaland and De Bruyne.
Who did you captain, Nick, in the end?
Boimo.
You did leave it with Mbeumo in the end.
I mean, my team's all right, apart from the fact I benched Martinez and Rodgers. So I've got like 14 on the bench. And as we know, my bench boost got me 6. So it's just like the last few weeks have just been ridiculous. assistant manager 5 points. I mean, Pep can't even beat blooming Southampton. I mean, in a way, I was actually happy when I saw it only got 5 points, because supposing City had won 4-0, I'd have been in a much worse position now, probably, because you'd have about 20 points. People would have 30 points for their Haaland captain. De Bruyne would have had double figures, and all I'd have got was like a few extra points on my assistant manager. So I'm actually pleased. I'm actually pleased that it was only 0-0.
The thought for me, I did say to Ray in a very long voice, about 8-minute long voice message, just me absolutely letting rip. I did apologise to him, saying, "Look, you're my only outlet," because I'll be completely frank with the audience. On a day like this, where I've had a really crap day in FPL, what's good about my circumstances in London, as Gary will know, is that because I live on my own, well, not literally, but I live on my own, and I could just literally just not have to watch Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. I could go out on a crappy walk. I could come back, watch some TV shows that I enjoy, literally completely forget about football it even exists, because I'd be so immersed into the TV shows that I'm watching. And then I'd just forget about it. By tomorrow, I'd calm down. Problem being down in Devon is that I can't do that. My mum's got the only TV in the house. The laptop doesn't have DVD-ROM, so I can't even put in a DVD if I want to. So I've got to go on a walk with my thoughts going round and round in my head about, I want to do I was thinking of Triggerlips. I really was thinking of you, Nick, doing the old slap across the face and all this. I wanted to go up to Dartmoor, do a video, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, that's like 3 videos I would have done just for today alone. It's just absolutely ludicrous. And because I wasn't able to escape the thoughts of what's happened. But what I did say to Ray was, if Man City had won and Haaland had come through with a double-digit return, the bench boost I couldn't care less about. It's the fact that he blanked. That's what's so hard to take. I could. I'm not going to do it, Gary. I could play a voice message that you sent me after D-Unit's stream and say exactly. I mean, you could probably tell people anyway what you said, and play what you said, which was essentially words to the effect of, "I'm genuinely worried what Haaland could do," and I can guarantee, all these people that brought in Haaland went because they went through the same thought process of the fear of missing out. But I can guarantee you also, all these muppets that will say, "Why did you panic buy and bring in Haaland?" They're all in denial, because before this game, I can guarantee they would have been panicking about not being able to have Haaland in their team. For fact,
exactly. I couldn't even watch a City game. I was too scared to watch it.
I'll tell you why, Steve-o, because when that deadline stream finished, I was like, okay, that Haaland captain, if I've not taken it, I mean, we'll go on to our points in a bit, but I am up to only 15 off the top 100k now, but I'm like, had that gone wrong and had Haaland and De Bruyne gone off, that is, as your video was titled earlier, season over in terms of my goal for the season. Yeah. So it was one of those moments that it felt like, this is it. You know what I mean? And I'm sure a lot of people felt like that as well. And thankfully for me, it's not been it.
People like Mark Southerns, who triple captained him. Imagine if Haaland had got like even only 15 points, say, then 45 points, and over everyone who doesn't even have him. It would have been absolutely massive, wouldn't it? Absolutely massive.
Oh,
FPL Nightmare. You know, FPL Nightmare was going to leave his free hit until the last week. Well, he saw the leaks, saw Haaland was starting, so he bought in De Bruyne, he bought in Haaland, he played his chip. And you would do, wouldn't you? I would have done. If I had a free hit chip, I would have piled in on Haaland and De Bruyne and all those. And it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's like, it's caught everybody out. Even caught Pep out, didn't it? You know, he thought he could bring a half-fit Haaland in against Southampton and they'd win whoever he put out. But it's backfired on him.
Lads, I'm going to...
Chelsea are going to knock them out.
I'm going to interrupt a minute. The purpose of this stream was... I started doing the stream was so I could interact a bit more with the chat. So I'm just going to say hello to some people in the chat. We've also got 39 people watching, which is a record for this channel.
Oh, that's a lot.
So please make sure you like and subscribe for the video. So hi FPL Sparta, hi Colm, hi D-Unit, hi Andrew, FPL Nightmare. Hello, Zykel, Christian. Hello, Roberto. And I saw one here. Someone put that he was on 0 points. Hello, FPL Cortex. Connor, I think it was. Connor says, hello, gents. 0 points today. Really bad fixture this morning. And I didn't have Watkins in my team, so I mentally checked out for this season. Well, I think you can definitely empathise with that, Steve.
Well, put it this way, Alf, a friend of the show and a really good guy, he messaged me roughly the same time as you, Gary. And like I said, I was not looking at my phone at all. I just wanted to get the fuck away from any notifications whatsoever. The only person I wanted to listen to, and no disrespect to yourself or Alf, was I just wanted to hear from Ray. I'm not going to lie, I just wanted to hear from Ray. And basically, I've completely lost my trail of thought. It's brilliant, isn't it? That was it. And Alf basically said that he wanted to do a stream about quitting FPL this season. He's given up as well. He captained Cunha. He's completely just fallen off a cliff this year, Alf. He's normally a really good player like yourself. And for whatever reason this season, the FPL gods have just not been on his side. They've shat on him. And he's basically said to me, if I wanted to stream, obviously I said, I didn't hear it until a few minutes ago, but I basically declined. However, we've both agreed that next week I'm going to go on his channel and we're just going to talk about why we're just giving up with this season with 2 weeks to go, basically.
Yeah. By the way, please let me know in the being sort of sidetracked by the. I was going to say, so I'm using a new mic, the same mic Steve-O uses. He recommended to me, so do let me know how it sounds because I'm still getting used to the settings. All right, let's actually have a look at the. Should we have a look at the games first, or should we have a look at our teams?
I think teams. That's what most people
right.
look at.
We'll go. Whose is this? Is this yours?
That's mine.
That's yours, Stephen.
That's
so
mine.
Do you want to read it out for anyone on audio and then talk us through how you're feeling?
Of course, yeah. So, me and Ray, before I stupidly didn't cancel the bench boost, we just decided with this 11 of Henderson in goal, Milenkovic, Ain't Nuri, Vardio, Eze and Burmo, Alanga, De Bruyne, Haaland captain, Cunha and Isaac. However, because the bench boost, I didn't deactivate it, it ends up with Areola, Semenyo on the bench with a whopping 1 point, Trippier, who will play tomorrow, and then Murillo, who is, 25% likely to play tomorrow.
Mm.
An absolute, I can laugh. I really can. And things like this genuinely do help me just get it off my chest. But this was a game week where, without wanting to repeat myself, but I will, because me and Ray have been on such a high of the last few game weeks and been doing so well. It's like the FPL gods have gone, nah, fuck ya. Smashed us with a sledgehammer through the ground. And we're back down to back to square one again. And it's going to be very difficult to claw back anything on our rivals now. Unless by some miracle, Areola comes through with some double-digit return against United. Trippier comes through with a double-digit return against Chelsea. And Murillo starts. There's no way I'm going to be turning around anything in the mini-leagues, unfortunately. So, but when I came back from being with my brother and my nephew and legitimately doing live as I did it, and just the immediate thing I see is 0-0 between Southampton and Man City, but then seeing Wolves losing 2-0, come on. Come on. Wolves are in such good form. Brighton are just literally hit and miss at the moment.
You guys were so in favour of Cunha in the stream. I almost...
Yeah.
Got talked into it. And I mean, bloody D Units cards were all over. Get D Cunha in as well. He got 0. What did he get 0?
He got
a yellow
58
card.
minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's benched next week. They'll play Bellegarde.
Yeah, because you were
would
saying
not be
about the fact that
surprised.
he's leaving. They
Yeah,
may
he's
want to start
leaving.
trying out new potential positions for other players.
Why
next
not? They've got
season.
nothing to play for now, have they? 2 games left. They're going to want to decide if they need to buy another striker or not, aren't they? Give Bellegarde a couple of games, make his case. And I certainly won't be buying him now. I'm actually looking at getting Watkins in somehow. So,
All right, let's have a look at your team, Nick. So, me and Nick were fortunate, if you want to say that we didn't, seem to get affected by the Man City news.
well, I did because I
Okay.
spent -4. I took a late -4 because I'd already bought. I was going to bring in Wood for Mateta.
Nick, could you read your team out before you go over it, just for anyone listening on
Henderson
the audio?
in goal, Livramento, Saliba, Guardiola, not a great defence to come, to be honest, and Bowen, Buemo, Sarr, Salah, Isaac, Visser, and Wood.
And you've got in Burmo
the
captain, haven't you?
Put the bench up a little bit so we can see the bench. And see, I didn't even want bench points on my bench this week, unlike Steve-O. And I've already got blooming 12 of them. You know, stupid shit, that bench boost, isn't it? It's so bloody random.
It's been terrible this season, the bench boost, isn't it?
I did play the correct keeper last week because I played Martinez. I thought Henderson was better this week against Tottenham, especially as everyone's got Munoz. So I wanted to kind of cover Palace's defence a little bit. So I benched Martinez. I didn't look at their clean sheet odds. I don't know which was better, Palace or Villa. Maybe I should have looked at that. But he's got 8 points, I think, hasn't he? He got 2 bonus points.
On review, Martinez and Raya were both predicted identical scores, and considering that's based largely on odds, I'd say there are probably similar odds for a clean sheet as well.
Okay. So, I took a late hit, Marmouche to Visser. Probably the right thing to do. I mean, it's easy in hindsight to say it was a mistake. But I don't think it was. It's just one of those things, isn't it? I think that's the first time Visser's blanked for ages, isn't it?
You imagine you could have had your assistant manager on the Southampton manager. What do you got then?
Probably it would have been about 10 points, I think, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm quite happy that Pep only got 5 because it meant that all these other people, I had no Man City attackers. So very, very scary going into that Man City game. Very scary. Chris Wood, I mean, we spent all week, didn't we, analysing Cunha, Visser or Chris Wood. And I think most people had Visser top, Cunha second and Wood third. But he could turn my week around, couldn't he?
Wouldn't it be ironic if Mateta, who everyone was getting rid of, outscores all of them?
Yeah, I know. Outscores 3 of them put together.
Yeah.
He only needs to score 1 goal to beat a lot of them, doesn't he, probably?
But considering the way things have gone for people who captained Haaland, I'm guessing you're happy enough with this, Nick?
Yeah, although I've used my assistant manager, I've lost 20% of my rank. I'm down from 49k to 58k.
Catching up with you.
But I do still have 8 to go, though, don't I? So
Yeah. All right, we'll have a look at...
not too bad. But the bench is annoying.
Okay.
But what can you do? Maybe Salah won't play and Rodgers will come on.
So
We'll be playing.
we'll have a look at my team. I went Martinez over Raya. Very, very close, but Martinez did me well last week, so he's on 6. Mazraoui
8.
on... Well, Manzarek play. Liverento still to play. Is he on 8?
Martinez is on 8, I think.
Oh, okay. Is it not updated yet?
No, they never. How come all the other sites have instant updates and FPL?
Well, I've got
You have to wait 3 hours to find out your bench points. It's bloody ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, it is on 8. I might as well use this to look.
Yeah.
Martinez on 8.
Use that.
Galvardio on 6. Sarr, Eze yet to play. Salah, Vice yet to play. And Burmo 12. So this is the one thing I did do right. I mean, my transfer from Visser in for Mateta didn't do anything. But because I got Visser in for Mateta before the leaks came out, when I found out Marmouche was benched, I then benched him on my own team and went for Rodgers, and then Visser and Isaac. So I have rised up. I can't believe this. I think I might actually have a chance of getting into the top 100k. When I started saying that, I started live streaming, doing more normal FPL content beyond my interviews about 2 or 3 months ago, and I was saying 100k. I didn't actually believe I'd get there, but now I'm just 15 points off. So the dream is still alive. The dream is
Do
still
you think
alive.
Mazraoui will play? I'd be surprised if
He wasn't-
Mazraoui starts.
He wasn't in FF Scout's predicted team because didn't Almiron say
I'd be surprised. if
he had
starts.
serious fatigue or something, didn't he?
He won't play, will he?
Yeah, but I thought he's probably not likely to come on.
Who's your first bench player?
Kill-
Marmouche.
Yeah, but he won't come on because it's a defender. It's Kilman and Kivior, so to me it didn't really make. It did.
So did you bench Marmouche before? Did you bench Marmouche because of the leaks?
Because of the leaks, yeah. Otherwise, Rodgers would have been benched. Otherwise,
Yeah. So the leaks have gained you 5 points.
yeah.
And whether they've cost Steve-O untold points, and they've made you 5 points. But whether they've made you points or lost points, the whole point of it is that they are having a huge influence on the game, aren't they? And changing things week by week. And they shouldn't have that power. It's just ridiculous. They've got to do something to stop it.
Do you think that Mark will have a lot to say on discussion points like this with the game next year, Nick?
If that's part of his job, he will. But we don't really know, do we, if that's actually
Wasn't that the whole
what
point?
he's doing? Yeah, I guess so. You'd think he'd have a say.
Because the most
He's going to
contentious
get a lot of
things-
stick if nothing changes, though, isn't he?
Yeah, a lot of the contentious points with the game is always going to be prices of players. We know that. The transparency of price changes. That's another topic. And of course, what we're talking about here is the deadline. And I think there are going to have to be some real serious discussions. I mean, even this assistant manager chip, they need to talk around what they're going to do with it next season. I'm assuming it's just going to stay the same exactly as it is. But
Well, it was only a surprise one, wasn't it? What do they call it?
yeah, mid season.
So they might just change it to a different surprise chip next season.
So Gary, can I ask you
Yes, mate.
how when the deadline passed, so 1:30 happened, and you were doing the FPL challenge with D Unit, wasn't it? The FPL challenge you were doing with him? Or
Yeah,
something
he
like
had a
that?
look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. How were you feeling regarding knowing that Haaland was starting? What was going through your mind? Were you in genuine panic, thinking, "Oh my God, this could be absolute carnage"?
Not really, not until after it stopped. And then when we stopped the stream, and then me and D Unit, very chatty lad, D Unit, I think we spent about another 25 minutes talking afterwards. And then after that, I was like, oh God. But at the same time, I thought to myself, and I said this on D Unit's deadline stream, he's been out for a while. He does have, he's not someone who completely is dependent on pace. But, he's coming out from 2 months off. Even if he does start, I thought, A, he probably won't get that many minutes, and B, he's going to be a bit rusty. And he's not going to be pushing
He
himself.
wasn't very good anyway.
Exactly, and he's not going
Was
to.
he?
So that's the narrative that I had in my head before the deadline stream, and I'm glad that I stuck with it because I mean, maybe it's because I'm a boring manager, but I try not to get pushed by those things. But yeah, there was a lot of fear still. Yeah,
I was a
If
lot
you
more
had-
worried about De Bruyne than Haaland.
If you had the money, Gary, let's just say for argument's sake, you had, I don't know, 10 million in the bank for argument's sake, and you knew that Marmouche was not starting, would you have sold Marmouche for Haaland?
Marmouche Haaland.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
You would have brought him in. What about you, Nick? If you had the money, would you, and for even if it was for a -4, would you have brought in Haaland if you had the money?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
he's obviously
There
a
we
better option than Visser this
There's the
week,
answer.
wasn't he? So,
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Visser fully fit on form against Ipswich. I don't know if he was a better option than I would have sold Marmouche for him, but I guess.
yeah,
I bought
true,
Visser.
I guess. And Haaland would have been more risky because Visser had a lot higher ownership, didn't he, by the end of it?
Yeah.
Which is why I pretty much bought him in just for cover, really, because I saw nearly everyone was getting Visser in.
So we've got 51
Makes sense
people,
to get in.
51 people watching now. Again, please do make sure you like to help get the video out there and subscribe. Often do these on a Saturday night and usually a preview with my two sort of fellow preview hosts, aren't you now, guys? Should we have a look at? This is what I usually do. I'm like I said, I've got no idea. had no plan for this because I was going to do it myself. Should we have a look at the effective ownership to see, like, there's still a lot of the game week left to go, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I've only had 3 players so far, so
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm so downhearted. I mean, only this has failed so far.
If Salah tomorrow comes away with his standard 2 points that he seems to be getting every single week at the moment, I think people like me and Ray can legitimately breathe a sigh of relief.
Oh, because you sold him, didn't you? Yeah.
Look at his ownership, 98%.
Yeah, can you remember the last time it was below 100? Low. I know that's bad for Steve-O, but can you genuinely remember the last time you could cheer on his points, Nick, for us to have him? Because he wasn't
Was it over 100 last week, was it?
Yeah, it was still like 120. I said when we were out on a walk, didn't we, Steve? I think it's still like 115, 120, something like that. So I'm actually looking forward to be able to watch a Liverpool game and not want someone in my team to score, if you know what I mean.
But some very good managers benched him as well.
Really?
Bench Salah. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I'm assuming
he is
because of
playing
his form.
Arsenal, I guess, isn't he?
Yeah, but at home and I mean, when I listen to
Who did they bench him for?
the reason I've got him viced is because I bear a lot of as much as I take the piss out of you and me and Ray, I do have a lot of respect for Ray's opinion, particularly about Arsenal, when he was saying almost like target us, weren't he? Because they're going to be down. So I definitely wouldn't have benched him anyway. Yeah. So I mean, in terms of my team, I've got Isaac, and also Isaac's less than 100%. We haven't seen that for a while. He's been hovering over 100%, and I've also got the 2 Crystal Palace lads. You know, I'm quite confident I could be in the top 100k. Well, not confident, but I'm hopeful. Maybe even by the end of the game week.
You're actually having a very good week, aren't you, so far? I mean, you've only had this.
If it goes all right tomorrow, yeah. If it goes all right
It's
tomorrow,
Martinez, isn't it? Martinez and Rodgers for you coming through. They're 2 really big differentials as a combination.
Yeah, I was on a
especially Martinez.
I was on a red arrow before that game.
Especially considering you haven't played any chips. That's a pretty. Any green arrow this week is good if you're not playing chips, I think, isn't it?
So have a quick look.
Who are you missing? Who are you missing that you're worried about?
That's what I usually look at, Nick. So look at the effective ownerships here. Nick, who do you reckon? I usually go for each position. Who do you, goalkeepers? Is there anyone there? Not really, is there? Sells, I guess.
Right, that's going to cause you trouble.
FPL Nightmare went. He went. He did play his free hit, and he went triple Nottingham Forest defence, I do believe.
Oh,
yeah, Forest defence. Have you got any Forest defence? They're going to hurt us. They're going to hurt both of us.
Don't me.
Thank you for clean sheet.
You've got one, haven't you, Steve?
Well, if Murillo's fit, it'll be 2. If he's fit.
If he's fit.
Chris Wood could hurt you, hopefully. Come on.
Munoz, he's got a...
Oh, yeah, he could hurt both of us.
Do you know why some of them have got skulls and some of them have got these little red devil faces, Nick?
Where are we? Oh,
I don't know what...
They're the ones that really hurt you, I think.
Yeah, there's a skull one, though. Sometimes it has a skull. There's no skulls this week. They seem to be the higher... I think maybe the skulls are if they're owned by more than 50%. So we got Bowen at 32%.
Oh, I've got him. I won't Bowen too well.
And good shout. I mean, the one thing D-Unit's cards did get right was Sharda. I think that saved his game week. Yeah, he's actually... We looked. I couldn't believe it. We looked, and he'd started, like, every match for about the last, 10, 15 game weeks. I didn't think he was that nailed on.
And he suddenly started scoring now. He's gone on a real run, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. Well, was it pre-season people were tipping him? I know there was a point where a lot of people were highly recommending him earlier on in the season.
Not a clue.
Elanga could hurt. Elanga could do some damage, couldn't he, tomorrow?
You've got him, ain't you, Steve?
Yeah, we brought him in.
Where it's going, Leicester will win 2-0. Hope they do.
The thing I always find difficult about Nottingham Forest is predicting. They seem to be capable of winning 2 or 3-0, and one of Elanga Wood or what's the other names? Other last name, Gibbs White.
White.
Yeah, they don't get a return. You know what I mean? The returns earlier in the season seem to be pretty predictable. If Forest have won 2 or 3-0, Wood scored, or but it doesn't seem to be like that recently. Do you guys agree?
Yeah,
Well, I
could
think
be
it's just
Hudson Odoi or whatever he's called, isn't it?
Well, he's out, isn't he? He's injured. I
is
don't
he?
think he's going to be playing for the rest of the season. I think
Or
Nuno's
defender goals.
Yeah, they just seem. I just don't think they're a team which is set up for. It's a bit like Burnley under Dyche. There's only a couple of players that are really there to score the goals, whereas everybody else is there to do the defensive work. And I feel that's the same for Nottingham Forest. It's just a few players in the team that they rely on, and then set pieces. That's it, really. Hence why at the start of the season, a lot was going through Chris Wood.
Not many people bought Chris Wood in the end, did they?
Nope.
I mean, I got him in, but not many other people seem to bring him in.
Well, funny enough, that FPL Olympian, he was banging on about captaining Chris Wood this week. He goes and captains Haaland, would you believe? Triple captains him. And the FPL Olympian, I don't know what on earth he's done to the FPL gods. He's another one, has got some phenomenal ranks, but this season he has been absolutely shat on.
Wasn't he getting loads of abuse on Twitter, I read somewhere?
Well, the thing is that someone wrote basically saying that it's not the fact that we're giving him shit for his bad ranks. It's the fact that he comes across really smug with a lot of the posts that he puts out. Now, I do follow him because he does actually write some interesting threads, but it does come across with a bit of, look at me, do as I say, I'm a god, basically. And I don't think there's any need for that whatsoever.
No.
But this season...
It's called Olympian.
Yeah. Whereas this season, for whatever bizarre reason, anything he touches is basically turning to shit, not gold. And it's just really interesting to see how a player who has got a very, very good rank history all of a sudden this season is doing really poorly compared to normal.
I'm just going to read out a comment, lads, because I think it does say in my signing up for memberships that I will prioritise members' comments. And Tukaz, I think that's how you say your name. Sorry if I mispronounced it, mate. But it's an interesting comment as well. It says, Mark, I'm assuming he means Southerns, if you're reading this, you can't captain the same player more than once per round between 1 and 19 and 20 and 38, and FPL is saved. What do you think of that idea, lads?
Well, that's something that FPL Challenge would come out with, isn't it? I think that it's a nice idea in theory, but in practice, what makes FPL so good is the fact it's such a simple game to play. I think that there are other aspects of the game, like discussed already tonight, which needs sorting way before changing how the actual game is played.
Another variant someone was suggesting was that you could only own a player once during the season. So once you bought a player, you couldn't buy them again once you sold them.
What if they get injured?
And I thought that sounded quite interesting.
What if they get injured and then, they've got 1 month into it?
You just have to bench them if they're that important to you. But,
I don't like that. I
thought it sounded quite interesting.
It's a nice idea in practice, but again, for FPL, it's just, it's more for a draft game. That
it would
feels
mean
like
you'd have to start using kind of more marginal players, wouldn't it? Or you'd have to be really patient and just keep the same players and never kind of get rid of them.
Let's not mess about it. The reason why FPL is so popular is because it's just so easy to play. Forget all the market-based advertising that they put behind it. The fact that the game is so simple. I loved what you said the other day, Nick, in your video about the fact that you could get a tramp off the street, and literally just say, pick a 15, and then that's all you've got to do, and they'd still probably do better than what us idiots are able to do, basically. And it's true. You were talking on it today, Gary, about the lady that was top of the world and she had no idea who Bruno Fernandes is, blah, 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 blah. It just says it all. It just says it all about this boxy game.
I'm surprised Mrs. Triggerlips lets you out making videos when you're going out around chatting up post women and stuff. Nick.
I've got to try and find that postie again and recruit her, I think, for the show. I could use her as a tramp, couldn't I, as an experiment and get her to sign up. I think, didn't Mark Southerns and that do that one year, didn't they? They got one of her friends to...
Recruit her for what, mate? That's all I'm thinking. Got 63 people now watching. Thank you so much. Again, that's the record for this channel. Please make sure you do like and subscribe. Yeah, so what was I going to do now?
I can't believe how lowly owned Bowen is on this list. I'm really hoping he can do something.
32%. It's not like...
Oh, it is. I'm looking at the wrong number. What's that number underneath then? It says 18%.
That might be the top 10k. Yeah, green's the top. Green's near me. White's the top 10k. I don't know what it means actually. Oh no, I think it's maybe the increase. I've got no idea. I can pretend I know. I don't got no. If anyone knows in the chat,
increase. Is it the percentage increase of?
Well, maybe, but I don't own them. So how am I going to go up? I don't know. If anyone knows what it means in the chat, let us know. But yeah, it's 32% owned. I mean, look at that. Haaland was only 11% owned.
Exactly. That's why he was huge. It was absolutely huge for people getting him.
Yeah, you're right. De Bruyne was really the danger to us, weren't he, Nick?
Maybe but if that triple captain had come off for the people that got him in, it would have been absolutely massive.
Maybe that's what the devil faces for, Gary. It's players that you don't own that are going to have the biggest effect on your rank.
Yeah, it is, mate. It is, mate. But there's also this skull that comes up sometimes. There aren't any skulls this week, and I was wondering what the differences are between the devil faces and the skulls. Not that it really matters.
I'm assuming the skull face would mean have no bearing on your rank whatsoever. If anything, probably as a detrimental effect to your rank. I mean, I really don't.
Well, maybe why has it got De Bruyne? He's actually the biggest danger to my rank. Well, and Marmouche. They haven't got any. Oh, I guess because they've already played, haven't they?
Yeah.
So that's probably why they haven't got anything. So I'll just show, because I do this every week, quickly show where my rank is. So there is my goal, top 100k. When I did my first stream on a Saturday a few weeks ago, I was 50 points off. We're down to 15 points. So I've got a skull on Munoz. That's probably because he's more. Is he above like 50% or something? EO 58%. Yeah, that's probably. So he's only 49 around my rank. I reckon it's if they're more than 50%. So it's all rank related. Yeah, all rank related. Yeah, my rank's not that different from yours, is it? Really? I'm only 100k ahead of you. Well, it's near you, so it's probably like a couple hundred. How are you a couple hundred k ahead of me when I'm nearly in the top 100k? You minus 70,000. You're catching me up. I'm 58k after today's game.
It's an interesting tool. I mean, I don't use much of this stuff, but I find it quite interesting that you're only 44 points behind 50k. And if you were to get a couple of differentials over the next 2 game weeks, Gary, and hit the captaincy on them, getting that 50k would be, 15 points off 99,999 is brilliant. But 44 points, I don't think it's not even that much when you look at it, really. 275 points off top spot. It doesn't seem that much, does it? I know there's only 2 game weeks to go. I appreciate that, but it doesn't really seem that much. But 44 points, Gary, it's really
it highlights what Haaland could have done for people.
Yeah.
Should we have a look who's
making me more bitter?
Should we have a look who's top at the minute? I don't usually do this, but who's top of the whole thing? Louvro Badsuin.
Can you put his team up?
Yeah. So he's on 21 points.
Took a -4. Do you want to see what his -4 was?
He's minus. How do we find that out? Can we say that?
Yeah, you're on it. No, transfer history at the bottom on the right. Yeah, keep going down. Just
that's
there.
The end of
transfer history.
What's his previous seasons? So he's come out of nowhere.
500,000, 1.5 million,
He's come out of
7
nowhere.
million and 4 million. Bloody hell.
This is what it's like, isn't it? It's if you want to win, you've just got to do your own thing.
Yeah, and that is. I said it on a video. Yeah, just down the bottom on the right, Gary. It says transfer history.
Look how quickly he got up. He was up
nothing
a million after 5 weeks.
Yeah,
There's no
the
Look at
cursor.
that, 2 million, and
Right at the bottom.
He went from 2 million to
right.
1,000 in about 3 weeks.
So he went.
At the top, keep going up. Yeah. Rogers and Marmouche and Berman and De Bruyne and Wood.
Oh, he got
Okay.
Wood in, but he's obviously a good player.
Well, not according to his previous rank history.
When did he do that? 13.25. So he was looking out for leaks.
Oh, I'd never seen this page. I didn't realise. So it actually tells you exactly
Really?
when they made their. Oh, I didn't know. It
Why do you
tells
think
you.
I talk about it on Patreon all the time? I always check the. Yeah, it's always been here. Yeah.
Well, I
He
just.
was the same last week.
Time.
But that's after the game week finishes. I didn't think you got this. Like I've never seen this page before. I didn't realise
He
I
did
could
the same
spy.
last week, look, 5 minutes before deadline last week as well. So he's obviously taking it very serious. He's probably one of these that was a casual, got a great start, and then he started watching FPL Harry or somebody, and is now hardcore.
Yeah. Do you want to just check his game week history, Gary, just to see how this guy started? Or
Yeah,
woman?
show the first 5 weeks, because he was 2 million after 5 weeks, I think.
Wait, I'm getting confused. I'll go back. Here we go. It's going to be a string up.
Yeah, look, he was 2 million after 5, but he got in the top 1K after another 7 weeks. He had, look at those green arrows.
He was 10 million after game week 4. That shows you don't have to be.
No.
He
That's
wasn't.
his game week rank. You're looking at
Oh,
the
2 million.
left-hand
Oh,
side.
sorry. Yeah.
It's still a pretty bad week. I mean, that's nearly the bottom, isn't it? 10 million for a game week rank.
Look, he's been up and around the top 10 since about game week 17.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
that's
obviously
incredible.
taking it
Oh, look.
seriously now, isn't he?
He's been
Look at
number.
that,
He's been number one for 6 weeks. I don't know why I
I
said
wonder who
that.
he's following. Who do you think he's following?
When I said he's been number one for 6 weeks, I started thinking like Top of the Pops and like some music bland.
I'll tell you what, if you want to cringe, BBC show old Top of the Popses from the mid-90s, and honestly, watching the song Barbie Girl is the cringiest.
One of
Woman.
my cousin got me one day when I was really pissed. He's a gay lad, got me to sing that with him live in karaoke. And he filmed it and stuck it on Facebook, and I've never lived it down.
Well, the good news for me is that this chap has got areola, so he's on my bench boost. So.
How many points ahead of second place is he?
He
Has
is
he pulled away? Because there's pretty big gaps at the top. normally.
only 7. That Max is still up here. Look.
If you look at that, though, the guy in 6th place, right? 6th place is like quite a lot, about 30 odd points behind him. So it kind of spreads out once you get near there.
Yeah, when the top 100. If we look back at the effect, I mean the difference between 1 and 100 is not that much different between the difference between 100,000.
Yeah.
Maybe not a million, but
No,
500,000.
It's strange how that happens. It's
Well, I
like
think-
that year I finished 35th. There was
'Cause
no
that-
chance I could win it.
The ones in that
It's
top,
massive gaps.
the ones in that top 100 have had massive luck. Basically, that's how I think of it. All massive skill, however you want to look at it, but they've had such exceptional things happen that they've got on. That's what gets them onto that massive score. I think that's why it's so different.
True. He did have one game week of 10 million, though, didn't he? 10 million rank for it. So he's had one bad week, and that's about it.
Well, Nick made the point. Looking at this here, for instance, for argument's sake, if Haaland had come through with a double-digit haul today, me and Ray are pushing for 300k at this point. We're pushing for 300k, Gary. That's how big that Haaland captaincy would have been, because
that's
it's really close.
You've really clawed it back then. You're going up there. You were 1 million a few weeks ago.
We were several weeks ago, a bit like yourself. We're not specific rank, but in the grand scheme of things, we were 1.5 million only several weeks ago, and now we're up to, well, according to my X account, 165th in the world. Did you see that, Gary?
No. Oh,
So I
no,
put out
you mentioned it you mentioned it in your voice message, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, this is how fickle. This is going to lose you subscribers. This is how fickle the world of FPL is. I put out some poxy because I'm sick to death of seeing on the For You section a generic picture of someone's team, and it will have rank 100 in the world or rank 50 in the world, and then it will put comment below some queries, and I'll happily answer them. I'm not just thinking, God's sake, you're only doing this for followers. So I just, as a joke, put on X a picture of my bench boost team and just said 165 and the world emoji. Any queries, comment below. I gained 20 followers from it. I'm still going up. That's how ridiculous people are in the world of the internet. Get a grip of yourself.
If people called you out and they said you're not 120, you could say, I'm the 125th best fast steak eater in the world. No, 125th fast steak eater in the world, or at yo-yo reversals.
But in all seriousness, yeah, me and Ray have done really well. And looking at that, how many points we are off X, Y, and Z, it kind of does help with your mindset about actually, it's not all doom and gloom. Now, don't get me wrong, by the time we come out of this game week, me and Ray will have had a massive fail, but certainly going into next game week 37, I'm just sticking the team as it is literally right now, just leaving in it. Just whatever happens. Still go with Haaland captain.
So, Steve, do you reckon, because I was a bit worried, as I'm sure elite FPL followers like myself are, is that pushed you any more towards not playing next season, or?
Yeah.
It has, yeah? Do you reckon you'll
The
get...
only thing that keeps me... I said it to Andrew. I said, the only thing that legitimately keeps me going is things like this, genuinely, or going on to Juice. It's the only thing that keeps me sane. But actually playing the game and just talking about how miserable it can be, it is quite hard when you're doing content and every week you're trying your hardest to be positive. But all it is just spouting out negativity about the fact that this hasn't gone right, that hasn't gone right. This game week is a prime example. It just gets so boring. And it just gets to the point where, like, why am I wasting my life? Putting so much attention into content creating, when in reality I could be watching TV shows that I enjoy. I could be spending time looking for a woman. We joke, but it is true though.
I think, Steve, you're more addicted to content creation than you are FPL.
Yeah. I admit that. Yeah.
I think you might still play. I reckon if you play FPL next season, it'll because you want to create content, not probably.
Yeah, no. In fact, if anything, me sat here now, I 100% agree with you on that, Gary.
But you're here because it's been a massive week. Do you know what I mean? That's made you come on this show. The volatility of it, that's what makes it hooks us in, doesn't it? It's addictive.
Yeah, of course
that's
it does.
That's why
you're
here.
I do think that the moving forward next season with Elite FPL and the fact that, without wanting to blow smoke up your ass, but I will, Nick, is the fact that your videos, the whole idea of like, I'm just going to record a video, put it out there and it's done. Kind of, I love that type of content because, as I stated on my video this morning, me just watching you recording, walking along a park, just talking is just so, it's so therapeutic. It's lovely. And I think moving forward for me, I think certainly doing more of that type of content for me is more better than just sitting in a room with a generic screen like this and just chatting on your own. It's
easier and it's relaxing, isn't it? It's
of course, yeah. And like you say, that's right. And you're spouting
it's just
off
so easy to do. You just literally turn your phone on and say whatever it is you're thinking.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. I'm probably going to, if I do it next year, I'm probably going to get a GoPro. I'm probably going to get what Yelena's got, just a simple GoPro. Probably have to get, because she has a microphone, doesn't she?
Isn't that a voice GoPro? Is that the little microphone thing she has?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it all comes all in one. And that's what most vloggers have when it comes to their videos. And
isn't that what cyclists use to...
That's right. Yeah, and it will make the experience a lot more enjoyable and probably a lot more easier because, as you know, Nick, holding up a bloody phone is it's not exactly easy.
Sorry, lads,
following yourself around.
We should probably just say, because Yelena is obviously a good friend of the channel. I hope she's well after, if anyone hasn't seen, she's taking a break from content only to the end of the season because she's a little bit stressed out, I think. So just give our best wishes.
Let's touch on that.
Go on, man.
Yeah, I think in all seriousness, I think that the truth of the matter is that you've got people like Alf, Yelena. There was a guy called, I don't know if you remember him, FPL Penguin. It gets to the point where real life legitimately takes over, and it is, I will swear here, it's fucking hard when you've got almost like an obligation you feel deep down to create content for a small audience.
Well, he's still making videos for her members. Yeah. So,
Oh, is she? Okay, well.
So that was in a post. But you know what I mean? But the pressure is still there even when she's stepping away.
Yeah. But I think, as you're fully aware with our Patreon, is that I don't feel directly obligated. And to be fair, with members / Patreon stuff, you can pretty much say whatever you want because you know that those people are diehard fans of the show and they appreciate the work that you put in. Whereas content that goes out to the public, they don't give a fuck, mate. They don't care. It's just, look, I'm not going to name the person until it comes out, but this particular individual that you interviewed literally said that when they put out content regarding team selection, they can see in the watch time that people just skip through and just want to look at the team and that's it done.
Yeah,
that's all they care about. And
FPL Fran also is whose interview's coming out on Tuesday because he literally said that, didn't he? So, which I found, I know you found that, didn't find that interview. I was fascinated by that interview because some of the things he said, like that. I won't give too much away because the interview's only coming out in a few days. But he was really honest about stuff like that, and how he almost said he almost quit when his ranking was sliding and he was seeing his subscribers were sliding. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Going back to like Yelena and Penguin and whatnot, is the fact that there is this deep down obligation where you feel that you need to produce a video each week for your audience, and when you've got personal problems going on in your life or personal issues or whatever work commitments, it doesn't really matter what it is, and then it's, oh God, I'm doing really crap at this game and I've got to do some poxy video about talking about it. It's hard. And I think that she's brave. I think, without sounding like a patronising arsehole, she is brave for basically just saying, kind of doing what I should do, really, and a bit like what Alf's done, which is, I can't do this anymore. I'm just stopping. I'm just taking a break, getting away from it. But I personally openly admit that I use it as a form of therapy, just to get things off my chest, because I have nobody in my life to be able to talk to about this in real life. Whereas at least if I spout some nonsense into a camera like I'm doing now, there's somebody watching this going, I get that guy, I get what he's going through, and I appreciate that he's being open and honest. And like you stated, I personally, next season, I think that it will be a fact of the content is just going to be there because I just enjoy creating it. And it will be around this game continuing. But it like I said, without wanting to sound like a broken record, like a certain individual you interviewed, but it's just very brave of the guys to wave the white flag and go, I can't do this yet. Bear with me. Show me some respect, and respect the fact that I've said I can't do this anymore, and move on from there.
Yeah, to be fair, Yelena got a lot of support on because I saw that comment a couple of days after it came out. Just to say, 70 people were watching a couple of seconds ago. So that's 65 again, the highest we've had on this channel. Please do make sure you like and subscribe. But what I was going to say there was, it's completely gone out of my head. Is Alf? So he's out for the season now, is he?
Yeah, I don't want to speak on his behalf, but yeah, I think he's kind of, again, there's a lot of things going on in his life. He literally posted this on X anyway, but knowing him as well, there's a lot going on in his life where he can't commit to creating the content that he wants to. And the fact that on top of that, his season's been going really badly. Ironically, he wants to do a stream with me next week, but it's beside the point. He just wants to kind of step away and just be able to breathe for 5 minutes. And
So I remembered what I was going to say. I think the reason we probably have, as much as I'd like to think it's because us three are so good looking, probably the reason that we've got so many viewers tonight is because people are going through exactly what you're going through, Steve-O. And they're, in the same way that you're appreciating them listening, they're appreciating hearing someone going through what they're going through, if you get what I mean.
Of course. And this is why, with Elite FPL, it's always been about that human emotion, human connection. It's not fake. It's not this put on act where I see it a lot in the world of YouTube. I always say this line, setting FPL aside, the absolute twaddle that I see on YouTube to get a video pushed out there, like the whole bleeping out of swear words, I find it tragic. There was a video that I watched literally today which said, entitled, "I was bullied at work, ... All right, I'll click on it. I'll watch it. Clicked on it, and there's a bloke walking through the woods. Fair enough. Every swear word bleeped out. It just didn't feel natural and organic, Gary. There was a video of the True Geordie, who he did a video about this Eddie Hall stalking incident that happened that was all caught on camera coincidentally. I've got my theories on it. We ain't here to discuss that now.
The guy that used to own Birmingham?
They used to what?
The guy that used to own Birmingham, that Eddie Hall.
No. Eddie Hall is in the Strongman.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
Now YouTube gimmick. But anyway, and basically True Geordie did a video on it, and there were so many cuts and edits and bleeping out of swear words. I can't watch this because it's fake. It's not you speaking naturally and organically. This is just somebody has just taken everything, edited it to the point of where it's absolute perfection. I'm just like, yeah, I'm bored already. Whereas this is my point about vlogs that I really, really enjoy. And this is why, and it wasn't an attack on Mark Southerns. It's just a simple fact that the reason why I stopped watching his vlogs is because he became that really clean-cut version of YouTube content, which doesn't come across natural. Whereas the videos that he used to do were like Triggerlipses. They were just, I'm just going to walk down the woods. I'm just going to chat some absolute shite down a microphone, give my opinion on how I feel the FPL week has gone, and then I'll just move on. That's it, done. And then all of a sudden, he gets a load of traction, and I get it. I get the mindset. He decides, I'm going to put a few shots in of a drone flying over the fields. I'm going to then read off a script book, a load of things that we talk about in Black Box. And I'm just there like, but this isn't a bloke talking how he personally feels about the game week. This has just become an episode of Black Box in the woods. Like, no disrespect, but I don't want to watch that. I just want to watch a bloke genuinely opening up about the fact that, fucking hell, my triple captaincy on Haaland's gone really bad, and I really want to talk about it. I really want to express my opinion because I can't keep these thoughts in, and Black Box isn't for another week. So while I'm out on a walk just to try and clear my head, the only way I can clear my head is by talking down a poxy phone while I'm out on a walk.
I loved Nick's FPL Black Box review, and I have to say I highly agree with basically your constructive criticism was no more erection jokes.
I actually, I thought I'd put that up because I did it and I thought I was a bit harsh, and I thought I'd put it on private when I went to bed, but I didn't. And the next day it was still there and everyone had watched it.
I've done that.
But he does do that a lot, doesn't he? It's like constant, like, innuendos about Chris Wood.
Especially the bit where he said, "You're a teacher, aren't you, Andy? Like, apply the rules that you would to your students."
And so I did feel a bit harsh, I think I was.
No, I reckon so. I mean, Yelena's been complaining about that sort of thing. I've been complaining about that sort of thing for ages. I think it's not just them two. It's in almost every bloody
He
FPL
does it on the
channel.
Scoutcast, and the other two have to pretend to laugh when he does it on the Scoutcast. You can see it. But I'll tell you what, on Reddit yesterday, there was a really interesting thread about content creation. And a lot of people saying that they put FPL streams and that on the TV when they're doing the washing up and all that type of thing, because they find it really soothing. And it's almost like having a friend in your living room. and that a lot of people haven't got people they can talk to about FPL in real life, have they? And they use all this to it's like a comfort, you know what I mean? Comfort blanket. Put a bit of FPL on the telly, and everything seems right with the world. You know, you forget about Trump and Pakistan and all that type of stuff, and just very relaxing, isn't it? Having the old FPL content on.
I've got a comment here that I saw. Where was it? From Roberto. I'm not sure if he's talking about your channel or my channel, Steve-O, but he says, get women to come on the channel and have a rigorous selection process to be Steve-O's girlfriend.
Yeah, this
Would
is
you be
it.
up for that, Steve-O?
You don't have to go offline to find a girlfriend. You can find one on your stream.
Yeah, I said to my mate the other day, is there any sports women specifically play only, and I could just be a fan of that. To go to consume that. He said volleyball, netball, all the balls, you know.
Yoga. Have you ever seen this? I think there was an episode of, I can't remember what it was, where I think it was something with Rick Mel, where he just goes to the yoga thing and he's pretending to take part, but he's basically just sitting.
We'll just stick to hello ladies. At least that's a bit more of a modern version of yoga. Bloody Rick Mail, get a grip of yourself.
We won't go back to our conversation about bottoming the graveyards. Lads, I'll try and keep these ones fairly short. Is there anything else you reckon's worth discussing before we sign out?
We haven't gone through the games yet, have we?
All right, okay. Well, do you want to do
Who
that?
gives a shit about that now?
I don't know whether you put the points up with the bonus points or whatever.
Well, we can have a look. We can have a look. Everton versus Fulham. I mean, pretty much irrelevant.
None of us. I think we all predicted one each, didn't we?
Beto again. Beto's back. I was saying on the unit stream this morning, if I'd got him in instead of that Indeed or whatever his name is in game week 24, I'd probably be like 50k.
Well, isn't it funny how of all the games that you would predict a minimum of a clean sheet for one of the teams, this is the only game that had both teams scoring. Couldn't make it up.
Do you remember on my
Robinson's dropped off a cliff, hasn't he? Do you remember? He was in my team for a long time. In the season, but he's done nothing, has he, for weeks?
Do you know what I did think of when I saw Mikalenko had scored Alex Vollo?
Yeah.
Hasn't he got something I don't know the exact story behind it, but he had a video on Twitter where FPL Harry had sent him a Mikalenko shirt and then he opened it up.
Oh, yes.
What's that about?
So basically, it was words. I think Harry played his bench boost, or he was going to play his bench, whatever it was. Either way, he said that because Alex Vollo said something to him in a comment, and Harry replied with words to the effect of, well, if Mikalenkovic comes out with an attack and return, I will buy you a shirt of his. And hey presto, Mikalenko got a, whatever it was, an assist. And Harry, fair play to him, stuck to his word and got him the shirt. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much relevant. I mean, I'll read through it. Jimenez scored for Fulham, Beto, Keane and Mikalenkovic for Everton, Decore. I mean, there's nothing here really of any interest, is there? Unless you own, I guess maybe some people own Jimenez.
It's the usual line I always come out with. Last week, when you wanted Everton players to do something, they did fuck all.
Yeah.
This week, when no one would have played them or got rid of them, oh, lo and behold, they've come through with something. It's just
O'Brien didn't do anything now, did he? He was the one they all brought in last week.
Do you remember when we did that? Review wildcard a couple of weeks ago on our preview that had 2 Everton defenders in it? And they've conceded both games because did they concede 2 last week as well?
Yeah, well, they got Southampton next.
Well, it wouldn't be surprised. Oh, did you see someone I tweeted earlier? Southampton tweeted at Derby, sorry for teasing you, which I assume means that they got over the points tally for being the worst Premier League team of all time this week.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Well, they've left it pretty late, haven't they? They've left it pretty late. Ipswich versus Brentford. See, and Burmo was on at one point. He was on for 2 bonus points. So Sade with a goal.
It looks pretty close, doesn't it, for bonus? There's only 5 points between a lot of them.
Flecken, you owned him for so long, didn't you? Sade, Collins, and
Yeah.
Flecken. You shouted out Collins in our preview, didn't you, Nick? Do you remember that?
I saw somebody has Steve-O frozen there. He looks like he's frozen. Oh, no.
No, I'm just politely waiting for you.
He's moving. You just
It wasn't me who mentioned Collins. It must have been Steve-O.
Was it you? Was it
I
you,
think it
Steve?
was me.
Oh,
that
maybe it
mentioned
could have been
Collins.
Nightmare, couldn't it?
It was, yeah, someone said, so whoever gave Collins a shout out, well done, because he's done well.
What did he get?
It would have been
How
8
come
points.
he's got
Two bonus and a clean sheet.
Oh, clean sheet, of
Clean
course.
sheet, yeah. So what's that, 10, I guess?
Flecken, if you just stuck with Flecken, he's actually had a pretty good season, I think, in terms of his points total. But as usual, when we owned him, he did nothing, did he?
Andrew's just joining saying, popular stream tonight, lads. Have I missed much? You'll have to go back and watch it, Andrew.
You've missed a big rant at the start.
We've gone through quite a bit. Where am I going? Yeah, so...
The 0-0. The 0-0.
The 0-0.
You gloss over that.
The
Four saves for Ramsdale.
The Southampton getting away from being the worst ever Premier League team. I'm happy for them for that. Ramsdale, Ruben Diaz.
Ruben Diaz has done well, hasn't he? I mean, the people that got double City defence have done pretty well in the last few weeks, haven't they?
Yeah, Bednarak as well. With he's been around for a long time, Bednarak, hasn't he? With Southampton, I think, as well. I remember him being in auction years ago.
0-0. You couldn't make it up, could you?
Brighton 2-0. Welbeck. I mean, my deadline stream partner was very, very happy with one thing this game week, and that was what's his name? The keeper, Verbruggen, keeping a clean sheet. Yeah, because he's had him for ages.
Few people benched him this week.
Again, I don't even know the last time Brighton even kept a clean sheet. And yet, lo and behold, when everybody's expecting Wolves to score a minimum of 1 goal, they keep a clean sheet. Same as Fulham Everton. Same as Man. All these results, I always say this on Elite FPL, you know, pick a result that shocks you. This is one of them. Obviously, Man City. The Fulham game, 4 goals in that match. 2 teams that can barely score a goal between them go and score 4 goals, which is a total amount of how many goals were scored across the other three games.
Yeah.
It's ludicrous.
Yeah.
Just becomes
Absolutely
random at this time
ludicrous.
from the season, doesn't it? It's just random.
And another player, Welbeck, who quite a few people had on their free hit teams, did nothing. Coming through in the week when absolutely no one owns him.
Yeah, 9-pointer for him, isn't it?
Yeah, and my favourite match of the week, because effective ownership gave me
Huge. Yeah.
gave me a green arrow so far. Watkins, Rodgers assist, Watkins, Martinez, and Digna. I had my first time today of saying to someone, "You shouldn't do that transfer," because I was on the deadline stream, and then the player I said he shouldn't bring in scored in Watkins.
I'm surprised they kept a clean sheet against Bournemouth.
I mean, it was for Isaac, so I mean, Isaac could end up doing. I've got to pray now that Isaac outscores Watkins tomorrow, so I don't get, you told me to do. Not to do the transfer. I'm joking, of course. What do you reckon? What do you reckon for tomorrow's results? Any?
Well, let's get real here. Salah's going to kick off against Arsenal. I'm going to be putting 50p on Salah 2+ goals. I'm going to be doing that. You just know it's written in the stars.
If you and Ray were so, well, Ray in particular was so, bullshit on him, why did you? Well, I know why you sold him to get in Haaland, but was it just panic?
Well, without wanting to repeat myself, but yeah, of course, it's the fact that Marmoush wasn't starting, and it was like, well, let's get real here. If I think Ray predicted 3-0, I predicted 4-0. Most people would have predicted Southampton, Man City to win comfortably against Man City. I guarantee some people in the Super Brew probably put 6-0. And you would expect Haaland, if you knew he started, he's going to get a minimum of 1 goal, if not a double-digit haul. And then when you throw that into account, and the fact that Kevin De Bruyne probably get a couple of assists in that as well, and so on and so forth, it's just pure panic. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I didn't panic because we'd already discussed that. But Liverpool, Arsenal, like Ray said, it could be anything. It could be anything between 0-0 and 4-4. Or even Liverpool winning 5-1 like they did against Tottenham. I don't really envisage myself. I think that Liverpool do win. But the fact that Salah over the last several game weeks has not really been doing that much.
Oh, it's been crap. It's been crap, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that continues and he just gets 2 points. What I'm really hoping for, Gary, is for Newcastle to keep a clean sheet against Chelsea, which there's a decent chance. West Ham to keep a clean sheet against Man United. Well, that definitely isn't happening. Nottingham Forest to hopefully keep a clean sheet against Leicester with Murillo starting, But the interesting one here, I think, for a lot of us, is this Crystal Palace away at Spurs.
That's your team,
I think
isn't it?
that's my team, yeah. I think this Crystal Palace Spurs game is going to have huge implications on a lot of teams because a lot have got a minimum of 2. Some have even got 3 in that game. Some have even got 3 in that game.
I've only got 1.
You've got 1, have you?
I've only got, I do have Henderson and Sarr. No, I do have
right,
2.
Yeah. So I think that's going to have real big implications on the game week. Salah,
Tottenham to win 2-0.
Exactly. They're
getting their confidence up, and they have got quite a few players back from injury now, I think. So
I'm hoping.
It wasn't too grueling. You said they were going to get battered in Norway.
No, that was Andrew.
Yeah. Gary, it was.
No,
Gary
it wasn't. It was Nightmare. I didn't know where bloody.
Oh, was it?
Bloody Norway is. He said he played the bloody Norwegian FPL as well, didn't he?
Oh, that's right. He had them all in his fantasy team, didn't he?
The big one for me tomorrow is Crystal Palace, because even though I sold Mateta, I've got Sarr and Eze, which are differential-ish. Yeah. What's their ownership?
I've got a feeling both teams are going to kind of agree to just pass the ball about and not do very much.
Hopefully.
Because they're both in the same boat. They've both got other things to concentrate on.
Do you remember? Always remember that happened once. I think it was the 94, might have been the 1998 World Cup final. It was one of those games both teams needed a draw to get through to the next round. Yeah. I mean, it's happened more than once, isn't it? And then they literally just pass it around and there's no aggression whatsoever. You reckon it'll be like that, Nick, then?
Yeah, I think to some extent it might.
I hope
not to start with, but by the time they get to the second half, and if it's level, they're not going to be, they'd probably both be happy with a draw, wouldn't they? As long as no one gets injured or anything like that.
Yep.
I mean, what's the point of busting a gut? Because they've got nothing to play for, have they? Really?
No. Who do you reckon, just as a side, who do you reckon will win out of United and Spurs in the Europa League final?
It's tricky to call, isn't it? I'll go United, I think.
I reckon United as well. I reckon Spurs...
Tottenham always beat them, don't they? But
they do, but I reckon Spurs will Spurs it. That's the saying, isn't it? Spurs it up or whatever.
They've got some very experienced players, United, haven't they? Like Casemiro, Mazraoui. They're used to that sort of level. So, mind you, they're probably better playing against foreign opposition, aren't they, rather than playing Tottenham.
Steve?
We shall see. Where's it been played?
I have zero interest in either team, and I'm just going to go Man United because they've got better attacking players in the likes of... I did like D-Unit's encouraging words about Ahmad, who I said... could be, because Andrew didn't bloody go for him in the end, did he? Because of the card. But I think
Andrew put him on his bench.
He'll probably start tomorrow too, won't he?
Well, this is the thing. I think that Ahmad could be a real gem over the last few game weeks, and I just think Man United in against Tottenham, I think that they've just got a slightly better attack. And I mean,
See the
slightly.
difference he made when he came on. They were losing 1-0, weren't they? And then they got 4 goals
Even
in 10 minutes.
Mason Mount, but didn't he go off injured or something like that in their last game?
I don't think he's injured.
No, didn't go off injured? No. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so I think that Mount and Ahmad could be 2 players to look at just for cheeky punts. And these are, to be honest with you, Gary,
fresh, aren't they?
Yeah, to be honest with you, Gary, these are players that if you really want to be attacking for the top 50k, they're the players to be bringing in. Just to really punt on them and go, you know what?
You're being very ambitious, Steve. I'm hoping for a top 100k, but top 50k. I mean, if I could get to top 50k, having had, I would say, objectively my worst ever season, until this point, it would be pretty amazing.
People are talking about captaining Palmer next week against United, aren't they?
That we talked about it on the deadline stream. That's crazy to me. You know, he didn't do anything for 10, 11 weeks, and then he has 1 penalty, 1 good game. It's just,
I can see a lot of De Bruyne's are going to go to Palmer this week.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, I usually end these by briefly, obviously giving a very early idea of my thoughts for the next game week. And I don't really know. I mean, I'll ask you guys as well. If you don't have any idea, that's fine. That's my team for next week. So I've got Steve, you can't make it this week, but for anyone watching, I'll be doing a preview stream on Wednesday at 6 with Triggerlips and Fpl D unit. And maybe Nightmare if he can make it, although he's not 100% sure. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking in the background, though. There's fireworks going off. Martinez in goal versus Spurs. Garvardiol, Kivior and Kilman against Bournemouth, Newcastle and West Ham. Not very happy about that, but as I said on the unit stream today, I'm not making goalkeeper or defensive transfers at this stage of the season. It is not worth it. You know, that's the sort of thing you worry about earlier in the season. Sarr and Eze, who again I'm worried about because God knows what will happen after the FA Cup final. Salah is my vice against Brighton, and Burmo currently my captain against Fulham. And I was thinking about changing that, but considering they lost 3-1 to Everton today, I think I'll probably keep that. Rodgers at Tottenham, Visser at Fulham, Isaac at Arsenal, and then Raya Marmoush and Livramento Missouri on the bench. Lads, I think I'm going to hold. I think I'm going to hold my transfer because I want to for the final game week.
Do you know the good news about next week?
No.
Man City are the last team to play. No more leaking scum vermin ruining the game week before it's even started. It's Villa this week, so we got the Villa leakers.
Oh, it's
that's
Friday.
The title of your next video, Nick.
Friday at 6.
Eh?
That's the title of your next video, I think. No more team leaking scum. That is beautiful.
I'll tell you what, I'm seriously thinking about taking out Isaac, who's away at Arsenal, and bringing in Watkins at home to Tottenham.
Why Watkins?
Why Watkins? Because they're at home to Tottenham.
Here's one for you, though.
That's a game where Tottenham are really going to rotate, isn't it?
All right, here's one for you. Evan Nilsson against the heavily rotated Man City, and then Leicester.
Yeah, but that's away from home, Mo. You can't.
Yeah, but then Leicester at home on the last day of the season.
True.
Review wanted
Who have Villa got in the last game?
Review, just to show that I don't always completely follow what FPL Review tells me. They were high on Evan Nilsson all week. They wanted me to get him in, but I went for Visser.
Yeah, but he failed as well, didn't he?
He did. Who have Villa got, did you say? Away to Man United.
Yeah, when is that very close to the United Cup final?
Well, the Cup final will probably be the week after, won't it? Or
Villa are still in contention for top 5, aren't they? Especially winning today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously City aren't an option this week. And all the people that have jumped on City, like you, Steve, that Bournemouth match is a horror show for you, isn't it? Because you don't know who's playing in the FA Cup.
And Palace and Spurs players, all of them.
You're not going to get any leaks. You're up shit creek. I mean, what are you going to do? You don't know if Haaland's going to play or De Bruyne or anybody.
According to Nightmare, the final is in midweek before the final day.
Is it?
That's weird. That's usually happened. I'll have a look. Talk in a minute, lads.
Oh, that's why. No, it will be. That's why they moved the game week 37 game against Villa back a day.
That's new, isn't it? They've never done that. Oh, I bet I know why it's.
The Premier League doesn't normally finish so late, does it?
But you know why it is? It's because of the World Club Championship, isn't it? They've got to get the European finals in earlier, I bet.
Yeah, but the Premier League never normally finishes on the 26th of May. I mean, that's so late to finish the season. No, so that's very interesting. So United are going to rest up beforehand, and afterwards they're not going to give a shit, are they?
No,
exactly.
They'll either be they'll be hung over with depression or hung over with.
They are at home on. They're at home on game week 38 though. So if they do win it, it's going to be a massive celebration game, isn't it? The Villa game.
Yeah, I mean they might. You could give it the opposite narrative. They'll be so happy, and if they won it, they'll want to put on a show for the. But then again, Villa will still have a top four to play for, presumably. So,
I guess that's why people are captaining Parma, isn't it? Because it's only 3 days before the cup final, that Chelsea-Man United match.
Yeah.
So they're going to heavily rotate, and that's why Watkins is also good because home to Tottenham 3 or 4 days before the cup final for Tottenham.
I've just noticed that I've actually got a moderator for the first ever time because Roberto is a moderator on the channel. So thank you, Roberto, for moderating, whatever that means.
So I reckon that's for next week. I reckon it's all about Parma and Watkins. Well, it depends on Parma tomorrow, though, doesn't it? If Chelsea are rubbish again, like they normally are, then everyone's going to forget all about Parma, aren't they?
Yeah. I think Parma is. I think that's crazy. People going for Parma.
There are other options. Jackson.
Yeah, he's done really, really well. D Unit was looking at his...
Neto.
Well, don't mention Neto to Steve. That's your biggest regret of the season, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
But Sarr to Neto could be an interesting transfer, or Eze to Neto, or one of the Chelsea midfielders.
Yeah, possibly.
Or one of the Villa midfielders, even.
Possibly. Lads, we've been going for about an hour and 35 minutes. Thank you so much to the 60 people who are watching. Please do remember to like and subscribe. Gentlemen, it's going to be a big day tomorrow. Any last thoughts before we finish the stream? Steve-O, how are you feeling? Better after getting out?
In all seriousness, I feel genuinely really good about coming on. I'm glad that I had the conversation with Ray, come on here, spoken with two mates, just having a laugh and just venting, and it's been good. Thank you.
It was strange because you sent me a voice note like, I don't want to talk about FPL today, and then 2 minutes later you said, can I come on tonight? Which was it's lovely as always to have you on, mate. Nick, any last thoughts, any things about tomorrow?
Yeah, the good thing, I think, there's no Monday night game this week, so it's all over tomorrow, isn't it? So the pain's not going to be stretched out for much longer. It's all going to be over by this time tomorrow. And, it's been great coming on here. And they really, really do need to do something about the leaks because it's just getting ridiculous, Do you remember when the deadline was 1 hour? And we thought moving it back to 1.5 hours would make a huge difference. Well, it did for a while, but now it's worse than it used to be when it was an hour.
Yeah, I agree.
It's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, would 2 hours make a difference, or do these people actually know hours and hours and hours before the deadline, and they just choose to tell everyone in the last hour?
They have connections with journalists who I believe get the teams. I think it may be 2 or 3 hours before because they've got.
It's not like a journalist comes up to them at 2 minutes before the deadline and says, "Oh, by the way,
exactly.
Man City main road, Haaland starts. You better tweak that quick." That's not the way it
But
works.
3 hours might stop most of them, I reckon. And that wouldn't be too bad, because if you think 3 hours, what would that be, like 10 in the morning or something
Yeah.
UK time? I mean, I think that would be okay.
I reckon bring
I
it
mean,
up.
obviously the streamers wouldn't like it, but they're partly responsible for spreading all these leaks, so they're not innocent in the whole thing themselves. So
Bring it up to the deadline. Why don't? That's what they
yeah,
do in
but the
every
problem
other
with the
game.
deadline is
I mean, the kickoffs.
they get everyone to get leaks at the 3:00 kickoffs. If there's an early game, people would be leaking the 3:00 kickoffs.
Well, it wouldn't be leaks. It would be official. You'd actually officially have the lineups at that point.
No, he's saying if the
No, they wouldn't know.
So deadline's at 12.
You'd only have the lineup for the early one.
yeah. So if the deadline's at 11:30 for a 1:00 kickoff, Nick's saying we would then have leaks for the later games at 3 p.m.
Yeah, we'd still have the leaks for those games. And
Oh,
the
I
other
see,
problem
right,
with deadline is people around the world.
But you can't stop that.
Some
can you?
people with deadlines at 3:00 in the morning, and they're totally unprotected by.
Well, to play devil's advocate, the only thing I'd say on that, and Andy, Let's Talk FPL makes this point, that if I was playing an NFL game for America, that's on me for playing an American game, or if there's something in Australia.
An American game, is it? This is a worldwide.
I think that's a bit harsh.
Worldwide. The Premier League's a worldwide thing now, isn't it? I mean, American football's only really played in America. It's kind of a bit different.
Look at D-Unit. He was bloody up all night doing streams, and I mean, he's a very energetic lad. But you know what I mean? But
not everyone can.
But
my day-to-day's ruined by having the deadline, having to be up for that kind of thing. If the deadline was 3 hours before, I could do my team between any time in the previous 24 hours and just sit back and relax, knowing that it's very unlikely that anybody's going to leak things out at that time. There'll still be one or two, but it wouldn't be anywhere near as much as it is now. And I think that's ideal, because anyone around the world can then make a team, finalise it, and not have to worry.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that will show the commitment of the deadline streamers when they've got to do an early kickoff and the deadline's at 8:30 in the morning. They'd have to be streaming from 6:30.
Mate, I
think the deadline would be about 10, wouldn't it? The deadline, 10 in the morning, or even
no, because if it's an early kickoff, that's 12:30. Deduct 3 hours.
Oh, so it'd be 9:30. 9:30.
Yeah.
Lads, I woke up.
They always start 2 hours beforehand. So
Lads,
Jesus Christ. I'm up at 4 in the morning doing this. You know what I mean?
Lads, I woke up at 7, 8 this morning, and there were 2 deadline streams on. Now, I'm not going to say who they are because they're friends of the channel. I think they try and get in early before the big ones start.
Yeah.
Which is no offence to them, but people are doing that. You know what I mean? So when there's Bonza as Del,
they're just accommodating for the people that are just wanting the questions answered. You know, that's all. That's the accommodating for. It's not really going to be.
We're just getting the views. That's the only way they get noticed is to be the first one on.
Yeah.
I saw one this morning because there were no other ones on. I can't remember who it was now, but he had the deadline time wrong. He said he had a countdown clock saying deadline in an hour and a half, and it was 2.5 hours. So he only had 6 viewers. That was a funny thing.
No, these lads get hundreds of viewers, even 8 in the morning, because I think the viewers know they'll get their questions answered.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Well, that's true too, isn't it? I mean, you look at Harry's one today, and it was just flashing by. But I think 2.5 to 3 hours. If they did the deadline then, I think it would stop 90% of these leaks that we're getting now.
Yeah.
And everyone would be happy, I think, because if you make it deadline, it is horrible for people who live in India or wherever it is, or USA or wherever. Even here, sometimes that's 3 in the morning here where I am. And people say, oh, it's a British game. Well, it's not anymore. It's a worldwide game, and the fact that it's normally won by somebody outside of the UK, isn't it? So it's probably even harder for them. I don't know where that guy is who's top at the moment, but let me have a look where he is. But often it's people from outside the UK winning it. but it is a global competition now. So Mark Sothers needs to get his act together, get that deadline moved, and stop the likes of vermin like Tony and Main Road from having such a large say in the community. And the way people fawn all over them is absolutely sickening. You know, and they get rewarded by having hundreds of thousands of followers for their deviousness. And it's wrong. It is wrong. You know, the clubs wouldn't like people like them spreading the news around. You know, the less time the opposition know that Haaland's playing, the better for Man City, isn't it?
Nick, you need to...
Wouldn't that be...
Sorry, Beckham.
I was going to say, wouldn't that be funny if the reason why it ended 0-0 was because they knew that Haaland was starting and they just changed all their tactics?
Yeah, exactly. They might have been going to do something completely different.
Well, I guess as well, there must be... I mean, if they know the team lineups, they can leak them to us. Surely if they're leaking them on Twitter, maybe that's why they don't do it to the last minute, because if they leaked it earlier, the opposition team would be able to set up based on that. So maybe the
No. Well, you are right.
It was 2 hours. It was 2 hours before the game, so they still had a chance to do that, though.
But remember,
Well,
Gary,
But
remember, Gary, what Nick said is true. There are people out there monetizing from this.
And also,
no, I know that.
Betting as well. There are a lot of people, betting syndicates and that are making a lot of money off these leakers.
Yeah.
And in other countries, they've put a stop to it because you have to actually name your teams 2 or 3 days in advance. In
Yes,
a lot of
that's
places,
correct. Yeah.
To cut out this fraud. Australian Rugby League and the American sports, you do.
Really?
The Australian Rugby League, they actually have to put out their team sheet on the Wednesday, and that's specifically to stop unfairness in the betting markets so that everybody's got the same information. And if they do change it, they have to officially announce it like the day before and have a proper reason why they've changed their teams. So, you know, could end up going that way.
That I know we have no... I mean, we barely have influence on FPL Towers, let alone the actual Premier League. But that sounds to me like it would be the perfect solution. You know what I mean? They should do that in the Premier League. Probably.
It's like the baseball and that. They've all got official injury lists, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
They have like official lists and all that. And it's all taken very seriously because of gambling. But the Premier League, football generally, though, I don't know any countries that have that in place for football, where they have to name their team in advance, because it's very the tactics involved are probably a bit different from rugby league. I mean, rugby league, you pretty much know how a team's going to play, don't you? Whereas football, there's so many different ways you can set up.
Lads, I'm going to finish this off because I need to guess
Go
what.
for a pee.
Yes, exactly. So thank you so much for listening. I think we hit 71 viewers at one point, lads, which is definitely the most I've had on this clowning episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please do hit like. Please subscribe. You know, we're trying to do these every week, and we will be doing them next season. Please join me for the Game Week 37 preview with Nick Triggerlips and FPL D Unit. Maybe Nightmare, who's in the chat, if he can get his wife's permission, lads. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. It's to do with his work. And have a good Sunday, and I will see you for the preview.